My 15-year-old son goes to my married sister's house every weekend. When I found out why, I couldn't believe it. The age difference between my son and my sister isn't that big. He's 15 years old, and she's 20, so they've always been very close. Since he was a child, my son has always matured quickly for his age. At 11 or 12, he already wanted to dress like an adult and was very particular about his appearance. My sister and he were in similar stages of life, so they were very attached. When my sister turned 18, she started dating someone, then got engaged, and eventually married. That made her distance herself a little bit from my son, which was natural as their lives were taking different directions. After a while, my son reconnected with her and her husband, becoming close friends with him. Every weekend, my son wanted to go to their house, and I always allowed it because I could see that they had a good reputation. My sister's husband was very kind, so I always allowed it. One weekend, my son went to their house but forgot his phone charger. Since my sister and her husband used iPhones, they didn't have a charger compatible with his phone. He sent me a message asking if I could bring the charger, and I told him I would. Later, I ended up forgetting, and when I remembered, it was already around 11 p.m. My husband and I went to bring the charger. When we arrived, we called, but no one answered. Since my sister lives in a house below my parents', we entered because the gate was open. We went to her house, and the living room door was unlocked, so we went in. Everything was very quiet, and I thought everyone was already asleep. I went to my sister's room, and when I opened the door, you won't believe what I saw. Now you can watch the second part by pressing share and more. Part 2. My 15-year-old son goes to my married sister's house every weekend. When I found out why, I couldn't believe it. When I opened the door to my sister's room, her husband was lying unconscious, while my sister was having sex with my son. I witnessed the scene, and when my wife saw the situation, her only reaction was to jump on top of my sister. Then a big fight started, with my parents waking up and coming to check what was happening. At first, I just wanted to push my wife aside and then talk to her to understand what was happening. After we managed to separate them, I demanded an explanation and wanted to know what was going on there. My son then started crying a lot and revealed that they had been in a relationship for a long time, including with my sister when she was married. He said that when she got married, he was a little upset, but later they talked and decided to continue the relationship. To this end, when he visited her on the weekends, my sister gave her husband medicine so he could sleep, allowing them to be together without anyone suspecting. That wasn't the worst part of the situation yet. My son informed me that he had just found out that he was going to be a father and that my sister was pregnant. At that moment, our world fell apart, because we never imagined that something like this could be happening right under our noses without us noticing. After all this confusion, we picked up our son. The next day, my parents spoke to my brother's husband and told him the whole truth. He then decided to separate from her. We took our son and my sister to the doctor to start prenatal care, and we did not stop supporting her at that moment. However, she ended up bleeding and lost the baby. Today, my sister is married to someone else and has children. My son is also an adult and has a girlfriend. As for me, I no longer have contact with my sister, and I have no intention of having any more.